Craft breweries constantly complain that nobody supports independent beer anymore. But then you look at their marketing and it's like they're actively trying to repel customers. Every brewery says, we'll just focus on the beer. Right, brilliant. Because famously, consumers only buy products rationally. That's why nobody has ever bought beer because the can looked cool, the taproom looked fun, their mates were there, or they saw some absolute nonsense on Instagram. Nope, purely flavour notes. Ah yes, Nigel, I selected this IPA due to its nuanced foil expression. Behave yourself. So, I found this article from MVP Visuals about craft brewery marketing ideas. And honestly, some of it is actually really good. Some of it is completely insane, and some breweries have basically figured out that modern beer marketing is just create chaos, create hype, and make people feel like they're missing out.
It's Monday, don't groan, don't fear. The Beard and Beer blog bloke is here. Talking nonsense, beard on show. Grab a brew and watch him go.
One of the biggest problems in craft beer is that breweries market themselves to almost exclusively to existing craft beer nerds. Which is mental, right? Because beer nerds are already buying beer. You don't grow by endlessly talking to people who already know what a double dry hopped oat cream pale ale is. Most normal people just want somewhere fun, something tasty, and an experience worth leaving the house for. That's it. But breweries still market like they're writing a dissertation. And this article actually nails something important. Small breweries cannot compete with macro lager companies on budget. You cannot out Budweiser. You're not buying Super Bowl adverts. You're not buying airport billboards. You're not getting celebrity endorsements. Although I am open to it. So smaller breweries win differently. Community, personality, scarcity, weirdness, and identity. And these breweries succeeding just now understand one crucial thing. People don't just buy beer, they buy the stories. The first example in this article is Oast Brewing. And honestly, this is one of the smartest things any brewery can do. They turned their brewery into an event destination. Festivals, seasonal releases, live music, food trucks, community events, and crucially, they tied specific beers to these events. This is a stroke of genius because people stop thinking, I'm going to buy beer. Instead, they think, we're going to that thing. That's a completely different psychological decision. And honestly, a lot of breweries fail because their tap room feels like a waiting room with an IPA. You know the vibe.
What's the vibe?
Industrial estate, grey walls, one dying plant, a playlist that sounds like a divorced geography teacher just discovered jazz. And they wonder why nobody stays longer than 45 minutes. Meanwhile, successful breweries create a sense of occasion. People love belonging to recurring traditions, annual festivals, special release days, beer launches, anniversary parties. That's how you create loyalty, not by posting fresh keg of Hazy Boy on now. Now, this is where beer marketing gets dangerously close to trainer culture. Monkish Brewing basically weaponized scarcity, tiny releases, limited availability, huge queues, and cult status. Suddenly people were travelling hundreds of miles for a few cans. Of course, beer nerds love this stuff because craft beer people don't just want beer, they want exclusivity. They want, I got this before you, I was there, you can't get this anymore. And honestly, this works incredibly well, but it's a dangerous line because some breweries start acting like they're supreme. Mate, you fermented grain juice. Calm down. I have genuinely seen breweries create artificial scarcity for completely average beer. Like, limited drop. Yeah, because you only brewed one tank because nobody wanted it. But when the scarcity is genuine, it creates excitement. That's why collabs, seasonals, special editions, barrel-aged releases, festival exclusives, they all work so well. Martin House Brewing might be the perfect example of modern viral beer marketing. They made beers that sound absolutely ridiculous. Pickle beer, Flaming Hot Cheetos beer, Buffalo Wing beer, and people lost their minds. Now here's one thing, most people buying these beers probably didn't expect them to become their new house lager. That's not the point. The point is, people talked about them. And modern marketing is attention. That's it. If your brewery creates conversation, you win. Beer nerds often sneer at gimmick beers, but gimmick beers get shared, and shares become awareness, and awareness becomes sales. Meanwhile, some breweries refuse to have any personality whatsoever. The branding looks like accountancy software for middle-aged men. Now, the section in the article about label design is 100% correct. Your label matters massively. And every time someone says the beer should be able to speak for itself, I immediately know their cans almost certainly look terrible. People buy with their eyes first, especially in bottle shops. You're competing against hundreds and hundreds of cans, thousands of colours, dozens of styles. And consumers, like me, make snap decisions. That's why breweries like Tired Hands, American Solera, Verdant, Omnipol, Vault City have such recognisable visual identities. You recognise them instantly. That's branding. And branding is not just a logo. It's the feeling associated with your brewery. And honestly, some breweries completely misunderstand this. They think branding means slapping a hop illustration on black matte cans forever. Now we need to discuss the absolute chaos merchants of craft beer marketing, BrewDog. The article mentions the famous BrewDog gold can stunt. They had gold cans in cases of Punk IPA. Massive hype, massive publicity, and then people discovered the cans weren't actually solid gold. Cue outrage. And honestly, this is classic BrewDog. They understood something before most breweries did. Attention is currency. Now, obviously, there is a line. You cannot build your entire brewery identity around rage bait forever. Eventually people will get exhausted, but controversy absolutely works. And let's be honest, craft beer discourse loves outrage. Beer Twitter survives entirely on outrage, gatekeeping, and arguing about lager. And BrewDog exploited that brilliantly for years. Every campaign became a conversation, and conversations create visibility. Now, the part that really interests me is the section on how YouTube is massively underused. The article talks about Tree House Brewing using YouTube properly, and they nailed something that most breweries still don't understand. People follow people, not companies. Most brewery YouTube channels are painfully corporate, like they're terrified of showing personality. You get slow motion pouring shots, pretentious music, and a brewer explaining malt bills like he's addressing Parliament. But the stuff that people actually watch is rankings, blind tastings, beer disasters, brewery drama, behind the scenes chaos, funny opinions, and authenticity. People don't want adverts anymore. They want connections. And honestly, craft beer YouTube is still massively underdeveloped, which means there's huge opportunity for breweries willing to stop acting like corporate LinkedIn pages. So, after reading all of this, here's my conclusion. The breweries winning right now are not necessarily the breweries making the best beer. They're the breweries making people feel something. Excitement, curiosity, belonging, hype, community, humour, identity. That is marketing. And meanwhile, some breweries are still posting blurry photographs of a pint with now pouring. That strategy is deader than crystal wheat beer. If you're a brewery watching this, people don't remember your IBU count. They remember experiences. They remember stories. They remember the brewery that gave them a laugh, or gave them a brilliant night out, or at least something completely unhinged. And honestly, that's probably a healthier future for craft beer than endless gatekeeping from people reviewing pale ales like they're judging wine in the Vatican. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, all that algorithm stuff. And let me know in the comments which brewery absolutely nails marketing and which ones desperately need help. Right, I am off to design a limited edition pickle stout aged in an influencer's beard oil barrel. Cheers, and I'll see you next time.